Welcome back to another exciting episode of the program with 7 North. Now, before we jump into this episode, let's make a quick clarification. This episode was pre-recorded in 2024 football season when this gentleman was the offensive line coach for Purdue. Did I say that? Yeah, Purdue University. Now, 2025, he is the offensive line coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes and with the Ohio State Buckeyes. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Lee Matthews, 7 North Video Productions, where we specialize in sports reels for academics and non-academic athletes. Today, we have an esteemed guest. He is Marcus Johnson. He is a hometown friend, brother. He is a former Ole Miss Rebel. Well, once you're a Rebel, you're always a Rebel. After that, he went to play ball in the league. He came back and he is now coaching, and he is doing exceptionally well. I'm not going to go full into the introduction because he's going to take his time and tell us more about it. So without further ado, we present to you all Marcus Johnson. Hey, man, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How you been, Lee?
Man, so far so good, bro. So far so good. We having fun and hanging in there. Trying to stay hydrated down here in this Alabama heat, man.
I can imagine. I do not miss that southern heat, man.
Hey, you welcome to come back. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna put it in a bottle and send it to you, man.
No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, man. We're glad to have you with us today, man. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's start here. Can you share a little bit about your background and how you got started in football and what led you to pursue a coaching career?
I was born in Indianola, Mississippi, which is in the Mississippi Delta. And then I moved to Coffeyville, Mississippi, man, when I was really young. Me, my mom, and my big brother, Belton Johnson. I probably was like, I don't know, 3, 4. I don't even remember. I remember, going to school, the school system in Coffeyville and whatnot, man. But, been in Coffeyville majority of my life, grew up there, but we would always go back to Indianola to visit our aunts and cousins and uncles and stuff on our dad's side of the family in the summer, me and my big brother.
Mm-hmm.
But grew up in a single parent home, watching your mom grind. She when we were in Indianola, she worked at Walmart in a gas station called Double Quick. So working 2 jobs, and then when we moved, she ended up working at the paper mill in Grenada, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was there for like 22, 23 years, if I'm not mistaken. So I think you even though you when you're young, you don't really know your parents grind, but as you get older, you see your parents out there, man, working 12 and 18-hour shifts and all of that stuff, man. So I think I would say I get my work ethic from my mom, is my point, man. But growing up in Coffeyville, man, we were happy. We didn't we weren't rich, we didn't have a ton of money, but we had everything we needed. You know what I mean? I remember the winters when it would get cold and pipes would burst, and we used to all lay in the same bed and what we call snuggling, when we were young. And, I remember those days of putting a pot of water on the stove and heating it up. We'd pour it in a foot tub to take a bath in the winters.
Right.
So that's kind of the start of it. Just growing up in a humble environment, peaceful environment. And, as I grew, man, just develop a love for football. Me and my brother, we used to collect trading cards, matter of fact, I used to love Thurman Thomas, running back to play with the Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame. I've actually talked to him a few times, the running back coach at Mizzou, Coach Looper. Mm-hmm. They played together at Oklahoma State, so he's actually gotten him on the phone with me a few times when I worked at Mizzou.
Sweet.
But I love Thurman Thomas. My big brother Belton, he loved Barry Sanders, so we kind of competed in trading cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who can collect the most. and that's kind of where the love for football came about. I remember watching, I think it was the 1990 Super Bowl with the Buffalo Bills. I guess the New York, was it the Giants or the Redskins? I remember they played both of them because you remember
Hmm.
when they went to those four straight Super Bowls, and
Yeah,
man, I just developed a love for it, you know.
yeah, yeah,
And then obviously growing up in Coffeyville, we couldn't play until we got to seventh grade. You know what I mean? To middle
yeah.
school. It wasn't, you know, how you hear all these other big city places, they play football when they 5 and 6, but we couldn't play till we was like 12, 13. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Which was cool too. But obviously, you know me, I was always the biggest one on the field. And I always tell guys these days that I recruit, I said, man, if I watched me and evaluated me, I wouldn't have offered me. Because I go back now and look at my high school tape. I'm like, what did somebody see in me?
Right.
You know what I mean? I
Hey,
think they
don't
just
feel
saw,
bad, bro.
you know what I mean? But I think somebody just saw a big human being, man. And thank God, man, only by the grace of God, man, that
Yeah.
John Latina, my old line coach, man, he also coached my brother.
Hmm.
He saw something in me, man, and decided to take a chance,
Right.
offer me, you know. And I always tell recruits this too, and families this, just because obviously people want to know your story. But I always tell people I respected my brother's grind too. He's
Right.
been a great inspiration for me. We had similar paths, but different. You know, as the
Right.
young folks say today, he had to get his out the mud, meaning that
Right.
he was the walk on child. You know, versus I was a scholarship kid. He was the free agent guy, and
Right.
I was
Right.
a second round draft pick, man. And man, my big bro, man, he's had double digit surgeries. You know what I mean? I've been fortunate. I've only had like 3 surgeries
Right.
during my time, man. So that's what I mean by him getting it out the mud. But I've respected his journey just
Right.
because of all the adversity that he's faced and that he's had to go through, man. But played high school ball at Coffeyville High. Got to Ole Miss, and making that decision was easy for me because Ole
Hmm.
Miss was only 30 minutes, from Coffeyville,
Right.
and obviously having an older brother, and we were close growing up. I'm hanging out at Ole Miss every week or every weekend,
Right.
and
Yeah.
tag teaming with him at Ole Miss on campus. So I'm building relationships and making bonds with these people long before they ever even offered me a scholarship. Those old linemen, those teammates, Terrence Metcalf,
Yeah. Yeah.
Derek Burgess, Deuce McAllister, just all these dudes long before I was ever even offered a scholarship, man.
Hmm.
And I was chomping at the bit, wanting an offer from Ole Miss and
Yeah.
waiting on it. I
You
hadn't
said.
quite gotten it yet. Hadn't quite gotten it yet.
You said they.
Went to camp. Went to Mississippi State camp. I ended up getting an offer from Mississippi State,
Right.
and then finally Ole Miss ended up offering me, man. And it wasn't even nothing to think about,
You said.
to be real with you, just because of the relationships. It was different.
Yeah.
Those players was like brothers to me before I even got there. You know what I mean? Just because I
Yeah.
was up there so much, and not only the players, but even just that coaching staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had built such a great relationship with that program, man. That it would have been hard for anybody to sign me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and and that's what it was, man. So my first year on campus, that was when my brother earned his scholarship, and he ended up starting that year. So he was a 3 year starter. For me, I was the 4 year starter at Ole
Hmm.
Miss, and it's pretty dope for me because even though I redshirted my first year, I was still on the travel squad. You know what I mean? I was
Right.
still a part of game plan meetings, so. I'm gathering all this information, while my other peers are on the scout team, you know what I mean, or the look
Yeah.
team. But I'm learning in a different way because I'm running these new schemed up plays that we're going to run against Alabama, LSU, and this
Right.
and that. And I say this, thank God I did because I know I wasn't ready for that, man. There
Yeah.
was some monsters. There
Yeah.
was some monsters in that league, man. But it was cool to watch my big brother start his first year, man, and I'm on the sideline just watching him, and as I'm watching him do his thing, I'm like, man, I want some of that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it was the fire brewing in me, in a way that I'm like, man, let me out this cage, man. And so once that first year ended, that was my sole motivation. Going in my second year, man, was to play beside my big brother. And
Right.
I ended up beating out a fifth year senior for the starting right guard job, man. And those 2 years of us playing right beside each other was pretty cool, and some of the most memorable moments I've ever enjoyed in my life, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once he graduated, I still was at Ole Miss for the next 2 years.
Hmm.
Ended up being an All SEC player, team captain, and was fortunate to be a second round draft pick. Once I was done, and I played 6 years up until I got hurt, man, and you know, came to that crossroads, which all athletes have to do, and it's tough.
Hmm.
One of the toughest things you're ever going to have to deal with in life if you're an athlete, was what do I do next?
Right.
And
Right.
but for me, I knew I loved football and wanted to be around it, right? So
Hmm.
I knew I was gonna stick with football, and I guess the reason I say this too, before I continue, the reason I ended up giving up, I probably could have came back and played in this and that, but during my time in the league, I've seen so many guys on Mondays and Tuesdays working out, you know, in New York today, California tomorrow,
Right. Yeah.
Texas, Florida, Minnesota, and I didn't want to go that route, especially like my oldest daughter who's 16 now.
$16.
I don't, oh yeah, my oldest is
Where
16.
that time go, bro?
Hey, man, they grow up fast, dog. They grow up fast, man. But London, she was 3 years old at the time when I got hurt, man, and I didn't want to be all over the country, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, chasing that dream. I wanted stability, and
Hmm.
I decided to invest in the coaching.
Yeah.
So I called Coach Cutcliffe, was the head. He was the head coach at Ole Miss during when I played there. My brother played there,
Hmm.
but he's now fast forward 6 7 years later. He's the head coach at Duke,
Hmm.
and so I called him up because I always had a great relationship with him and that entire coaching staff. And again, you're talking about a guy that's known these people since he was 16 years old, and now I'm
Right.
like 28 at the time. You know what I mean? I think. And called him, told him, "Hey, coach, I want to get into coaching." And so he invited me out to spring practice, and it had to be 2010,
Yeah.
either 2010 or 2011. He invited me out to spring ball 2010. He invited me out. No, 20. I don't know, one of the two. 2010 or 2011. He ended up
Right.
inviting me out to spring practice for a week, just so I can kind of check things out. You know what I mean, and see if
Hmm.
I really wanted to do it and this and that. Right. So for me, and once I hung up that phone, prior to that phone call, keep in mind I'm hurt. I tore my quad. I completely ripped it off the bone. They had to go back in and
Ooh.
reattach it to my bone, and I gave up playing. And then I'm doing rehab between Birmingham and Oxford at this time.
Hmm.
I had a house in Oxford. I actually just sold my house in Oxford last year. But I was doing rehab between Oxford and
Hmm.
Birmingham, Alabama, man. And when Coach Cutcliffe told me to come hang out, man, I had no business doing it. I think I was trying to prove a point. That's that athlete and that competitor in you. But I'm in a straight legged brace,
Yeah. Yeah.
and on crutches, and I'm driving 12 hours across the country from Oxford, Mississippi
Mississippi.
to Durham, North Carolina, man, just to
Right.
try to prove a point to him.
Yeah.
And so, spent the week with the staff, hanging out, kind of rekindling relationships, catching up, and this and that. And, then I drive back 12 hours back to Mississippi. And then,
Hmm.
you told me to really think about it before I make that decision. because I think he was probably thinking that once I got healthy that I would try to start back playing ball.
Right.
Uh, but I was all in once I made my mind up. I was
Mm-hmm.
100% all aboard, and so once I left Durham, North Carolina, to head back to Oxford to continue my rehab process, he called me probably like I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks later, and said he had an opportunity for me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in the weight room. It was in the weight room as an unpaid intern, and
Yeah.
and that was, and even though that wasn't initially what I wanted, I knew it was an opportunity just to get my foot in the door
Door.
in coaching.
Yeah.
And so I took it, and I wasn't worried about money at the time. Again, I was just finished playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I never touched my signing bonus, and I still hadn't touched it to this day. And
Yeah.
everybody think that's crazy, you know what I mean? And I think it's just common sense.
Oh yeah.
Because when I play, I you know me, I've never been a big flashy guy. I
Yeah.
don't need gold chains and
And speaking of Flash, do you still have that? Because yes, of course I know. Do you still have that? That that Chevy Tahoe. 'Cause I remember you had that.
yeah, is that at my mom's house?
See?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
yeah. Yeah, that maroon Chevy
That
Tahoe.
maroon
Yeah.
Tahoe, man,
Man, I
dude.
rode that thing because when I even drove that thing while I was in the league, because when I would come back in the off season, I left my Denali in Minnesota, but when I would
Mm-hmm.
come back, in the off season to Mississippi to work out and train, that's the truck I drove around, man, while I was still in the league. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, man, yeah. But no,
Yeah.
hey, humble beginnings, man. But hey, like Coach Norris used to tell us, well, the late Coach Norris, if you ain't got
Yeah.
heart, you ain't got nothing, man.
No question. No question. I
Yeah,
respect
man.
that dude to death, man. Respect him to death.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And And so, once Coach Cutcliffe gave me that opportunity, man, I took it and ran with it. And after my first season, I got there June, summer. You know, how like first summer session or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I started, when that freshman class started, man. And after that first season went by, they liked the job that I was doing in the weight room, so they ended up
Mm-hmm.
hiring me full time. From there, I just kind of worked my way up the food chain, man. Just proving my worth.
Right, right.
I ended up passing my strength and conditioning exam, which was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It's a
Yeah.
3 day test. The first day is like a 250 to 300 question
I didn't even
Q&A deal,
I didn't even
which,
know
as
that,
you can
bro.
imagine, that's like a 6 to 8 hour test,
Yeah.
the first day. And then they got like a practical portion of the test, to where they give you certain lifts that you got to show, you got to do the lift, you got to explain the lift and get coaching points and whatnot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So past that deal, and then the next day, the third day was program design, where
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know what sport they were going to give you, but you got to design a summer program for that particular sport. So
Oh.
they gave me softball, man. So I ended up passing all three parts of the test. Thank God, man, because that's
Yeah.
something I never, ever want to do again, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But past that thing, man, and I remember I studied for like a year for that exam, and the kids at Duke, they used to look at me crazy
Mm-hmm.
just because they said this 30-year-old dude who just getting out the league, and they
Right.
like, man, we ain't got to do this. Why you in
Yeah.
here studying? Like, I'm in the old line room studying, I'm in the weight room studying, I'm in the
Yeah.
dining hall studying, and these kids looking at me like, Coach, you crazy, man. And but I was on a mission, you know what I mean? It was important to me.
Right.
And then, so I did well. I was in the weight room for 3 years. And then Coach Latina came downstairs. He was the guy that coached me and my brother
Mm-hmm.
at Ole Miss. He was our O-line coach, and he also recruited me. So a guy I've known since I was 16 years old. Um, I watched him for 2 years coach my brother. I played for him for 5 years. what better opportunity for me to get into coaching with a guy that I've known had more
Right,
than half my life at the time. You know what I mean?
right, right.
And the guy that taught me essentially everything I knew about online.
Yeah.
So he came downstairs to the weight room and asked me to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, heck yeah. And that's what I was waiting on because I wanted to be an O-line coach, man.
Right.
So he came and got me. And then, he and I worked together for the next 3 years at Duke up until he retired. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's when I took over as the O-line coach, man. And, I'm so appreciative of him, and words can't even explain it or express it, what he's done for me. Even as a player, I always tell people that, like, I was a well-known guard in the SEC, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
all conference and this and that, and
Yeah.
he allowed me to play tackle my senior year, where I probably when the most O linemen or tackles that go in the first round or early in the drafts. You know what I
Right.
mean? You
Right.
don't see a lot of guards and centers going early.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably, being honest with you, I probably wouldn't have been a second round pick had I not shown the versatility to play tackle my senior year, which he didn't have to do,
Right.
right? And then not only
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
as a coach, even when he retired, I hated it because I still felt like I was learning and growing up under him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he retired, that kind of hurt me. You know what I mean? But I think I never asked him this, but I think he knew it was time for me to start, being the guy and having my own
Mm-hmm.
room. And I see that he was passing the torch to me, if you will,
Right.
because he felt and knew it was time for me to get started on this next journey in my life, man.
Yeah.
So, so was at Duke for 7 years, ended up leaving Duke, went to Mississippi State for 2 years, left Mississippi State, was at Mizzou for 3 years, and
Yeah.
left Mizzou, and now I'm going on year two here in Purdue, man. So that's kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
my timeline growing up to now, man. I hope I didn't bore anybody out there,
Oh
man.
no, no, that's good stuff, man. Like I said, hey, long as you ain't in state, man.
No doubt, no doubt.
But nah,
I'll say
man.
this though, man. I enjoyed my time in Mississippi
Yeah,
State, man. It was good to be back in the STIP, man, and I ain't got nothing but great things to say about those
absolutely.
people over there at Starkville, man. They were a joy to work with, man. I
Yeah.
still got great relationships with a lot of those people.
Yeah, and I will say because of course, for those that don't know or those that may not be aware, I'm an Ole Miss fan, and so
Mhm.
it's Ole Miss Mississippi State. But
No
but
doubt.
hands down, I tell people like even when I was watching you as you was at Mississippi State during that time. And man, y'all was giving the defense fits, man. I was like, "That's my
Hey,
dude."
we
I
were
was like, "Y'all got
thinking,
him right." I was like, "I hate to
yeah.
admit it, because again, it's the Ole Miss Mississippi State thing."
Oh
But the
yeah,
bottom line
yeah,
was, I mean,
yeah,
got to
man.
recognize it. I was like, man, y'all was bulldozing.
That
I mean, y'all was just manhandling folks, man.
Hey man, that group was one of the best O lines I've coached, man, and a lot of them dudes are in the league right now, man. It was fun to work with them
Yeah,
cats, man,
yeah,
and a lot of them just was dudes that you can relate to. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
walked that path before, and they knew I had been in their shoes before, and they trusted me. You know what I mean? And they made it a joy and a pleasure to go to work every day, man. Them
yeah.
guys, man. But some tough dudes, I will
Oh
say.
yeah, man, gritty, man. You guys had some dog,
Yep.
and like I said, and again, I mean, you was awesome at Duke, awesome at State, awesome at Mizzou. And actually, I started thinking about it. I was like, that team that made that run, that was the offensive line. What
Yep.
your year one at Purdue, that was the offensive line. I mean, some dogs, man. You developed some dogs, and
Yeah.
that speaks volume to your coaching when another person come in and they still be like, hey, we dogs. We eating
Yep.
we eating on in the trenches. It's serious in the trenches.
Yeah, man. That group at Mizzou last year, I knew Mizzou would be good because it was a veteran group.
Mm-hmm.
But that group, man, yeah, man, all the starters, there was four returning starters on that group that
Yeah.
I had coached. You know what I mean? And we only had to replace one guy, and that was at the right guard position. And it was crazy because I even coached them through spring ball, and then just circumstances changed, man, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a different situation, man, and I ended up leaving Mizzou at the end of spring ball last year to take the Purdue opportunity, man, and
Yeah.
even coming here. Purdue known for having quarterbacks and throwing the ball, and man, we did some things here last year that hadn't been done since the 1960s. We even led
Sure.
the Big Ten in rushing in conference game, which
Yes. Yes, you
nobody
did.
would see that coming from Purdue, man. So it's been fun, man. But if you look at my resume, man, over the last 5, 6 years, man, I've either led the conference in rushing or had the leading rusher in the conference, man. So
Right.
it's been awesome, man. I've been blessed.
And speaking to on my handy dandy phone here, you just recently received the top 50 offensive line coaches in college football at number. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. At number 42 on this top 50, we got Marcus Johnson, Purdue.
No doubt,
Yeah.
no
So
doubt.
big
But
ups, man.
yeah, man. But I'm gonna be straight up. I feel like it's a smack in the face. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
hungry, and I feel like I'm tops in the country. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
I ain't taking no backseat to nobody. You
Yes,
know, and
sir.
that's real talk. You know, I'm not a guy to get all the 5 stars and 4 stars. The ready-made guys. I believe in building them from the ground up, man. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, I take it as a slap in the face, man, and I got to get on my grind, man, because 42 ain't good enough. I got to
Yeah.
keep climbing the charts. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I'm motivated, big dog.
That's it, man. Hey, you got what it takes, and the great thing about it, you're instilling the players with what it takes, and they're buying into it, and they believe in it, dog, and it's showing. It's showing.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right. So, recruiting strategy. When you're recruiting, let me bring my phone over here so when I'm trying to look sideways. When you're recruiting players for your team, what specific qualities and characteristics do you look for in a potential athlete? And how do you identify talent that aligns with your team's philosophy and goals?
For me, man, I try to look for, I would say, like-minded guys. You know what I mean? Guys that are similar or somewhat to myself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, just good people. Honest people with integrity, hardworking. You know what I mean? Obviously, the physical things like speed and athleticism and bend and obviously you want a certain height and weight and this and that, man. But to me, just good kids that work hard. At
Right.
the end of the day, that's what I'm hunting. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just good kids, man.
Yeah. In the development, in the development of your players, what key aspects do you prioritize to help them grow both on and off the field?
One of the things that we kind of live by around here, kind of our pillars of the program, is competitive, tough, and discipline. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I would stick to, man. Because to me, whether it's in life or on the field, with any circumstances, you know what I mean. If you're competitive, you're tough, and you're disciplined, that can take you a long ways in life.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, my wife calling. But
Oh
that's
no,
kind
go
of
ahead, go
what.
ahead. If you need to
Nah,
call,
you're good.
okay.
Yeah, you're good. And we describe competitive as having a daily desire to be better today than you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And again, it doesn't have to just be in sports, but that's just in life. Period. If I'm in a classroom, you know what I mean, or if I'm an athlete, I can compete with that 4.0 student too. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm an athlete doesn't mean I can't be a 4.0 student either. And then tough is what we describe as overcoming adversity, which we're all going to see in life with great attitude and effort, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the referee doesn't always call a game like you want it, right? But
Yeah.
how am I going to approach the next play? Am I
Right.
going to whine, complain, let it distract me from the task at hand, or am I going to, all right, buckle it up, tighten it up, and let's go again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Go get after it.
Uh,
Yeah.
And again, that's from a football perspective, but even in life, you know what I mean? They, you, I think it's, I don't know, you hear some people say teachers don't like athletes or this and that, you know what I mean? Just because you
Yeah,
got a bad grade or something, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what? It is what it is. Are you
Mm-hmm.
going to walk in that classroom with a great attitude, regardless of what that teacher is like, and give it your all in your best? You know what I
Right,
mean? And then we describe discipline as consistently choosing to do what you're coached to do. You know
right.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that's the decision. You know what I mean? And we're all coached by somebody in life. We all got a boss. That's a coach. You know what I mean? Or a
Mm-hmm.
teacher. Am I gonna do what I'm being coached to do daily in life? You know what I mean? So to me, that's what it's about to me. And I think if we stick to those, man, I think it can take us a long way. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. How do you handle challenges and conflicts within your team?
Um, Honesty, having conversations, having relationships. Just like right now, we having outbreak sessions, at night to where, it's a different part of players. Each coach and a staff member got about 5 players, and
Mm-hmm.
we're playing. We're landing on the line. Like the groups I've had, my O line room, any O line coach, they know how I grew up. The story that before you started recording earlier, that conversation you and I had.
Right.
Every player I coach, they know that story. All my players know I grew up in a single parent home. All my players know that I wasn't the smartest. They know I didn't like school.
Yeah.
They know I barely got into Ole Miss, and I'm not embarrassed by it because there's some other guys out there that can relate to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can relate to them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So to me,
Yeah.
just having relationships, which the real relationships with your players, to where they can trust you and you trust them, and have an open dialogue. Man,
Right.
we're big on that. Is that nobody's perfect. We know we're gonna screw up. You know what I
Right.
mean? So. I think that's one of the things that we do a great job around here, man. Just having open dialogue with our guys.
Right. Right. You said, I mean, when you think about it, all of us just want that one shot. And then once
Hmm.
we get it, are you gonna blow it? Or are you
Yep.
going to seize that moment?
No doubt. And even if I blow it, okay, let's learn something from blowing it. And then I come
Exactly.
back. Just like to me, I tell people all the time, I took the ACT like 6 or 7 times, and I never made more than a 15 on it, which ain't good enough. But by
Right.
the grace of God, they used my super score, my composite score. I would go up this many points in this subject, this subject,
Right.
this
Right.
subject. And that's how I end up getting into school. And I tell people all the time, like, was I a great high school student? No. But once I got to Ole Miss and the resources that they had, and I was exposed to so much more, they got me on the schedule. They got an expert in math and
Right.
reading and this and that. You know what I mean? So the resources that I had, hell, I tell people all the time that college was easier than high school for me
Right.
because of the help and the resources that I had. And it wasn't help as in somebody gave me something. Nah, I don't know these teachers that I'm going. It's just because of these academic advisors and experts
Yeah.
that are helping me, which I didn't have that in high school. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So it's just
Absolutely.
different. You know what I mean? And you're gonna go to study hall. You know,
Yeah.
2.5 hours a night after practice. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different, man. Just with the resources.
Right. And audience, I can attest because we attended school together. He graduated in 2000. I came out in 2002. So, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I can attest to that.
Absolutely, man. Man, once I got to college, man, I graduated and with like a 3.2 GPA. I was on the dean's list, and
Yeah.
and and to be real with you, a lot of it was because I was lazy in high school. I'd be straight up about it. You know what
Right.
I mean? But once I started applying myself, it kind of took off.
Yeah.
And I give Coach Lyles credit, man. When Coach Lyles came to Coffeyville,
Yeah.
it didn't just hit me in the weight room with him on the field. and then I started attacking them books too. You know what I mean? Because that
Right.
was the big deal for him, man. So,
Yeah.
and I started to develop that foundation my junior and senior year. I just got off to such a rocky start my freshman and
So
sophomore year,
yeah.
and my players know that about me. My players know who I am. You know.
Yeah. 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 Shout out Coach Lies. He's coaching at Ripley High School in Mississippi now. And I talk often with Coach Wool. And so hopefully I'm sure
Great
when it
guys,
yeah,
great
great
guys,
guys, man.
man.
So when it's aired, we're
Missed
gonna
them.
make sure we tag them in that. Yeah, man. And I know earlier you had mentioned your brother Belton. So Belton, keep your phone on because I'm looking forward to hitting you up next. keep
He'd love it, man.
Yes,
He'd be
sir.
down with it.
Yes, sir. How do you strike a balance between fostering your athletes' skills and ensuring their personal development? How do you strike that balance?
For me, man, I believe just being authentic, man. Being real with those guys, and I always tell guys all the time, too much of anything ain't good for any of us. Um,
Right?
Whether that's ball or too much free time or whatever the case may be. And I tell them you gotta have balance, right? Just like for me, I believe in laughing and cracking a joke or two in the meeting room, and you know what I mean. I ain't one
Yeah.
of them old school where I'm the only one talking in the room. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Just because
Yeah.
now when it's time to get serious, it's time to be serious too at the same time.
Right.
But again,
Right.
to me, that goes back to balance, man. And I tell those guys all the time that anything that's too much ain't good for you. I encourage them, man. Like when you get away from ball, like get away from it. Like don't be coming
Mm-hmm.
to the facility to watch tape. You know what I mean? It's gonna be plenty of ball for the next 5 months.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So I think it's a fine line, man. But I believe that you got to have balance in anything, and encourage those guys, man. After a certain amount of time, turn the tape off. You probably need to go home and get some rest and get some sleep. You'll be better off and be better tomorrow,
Yeah.
versus studying tape
Yeah.
to 11 or 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's
Right.
got to be some sort of balance to me with anything in life. Right? Like I mean, chicken grilled chicken breast is good, but if you eat 10 of them in one setting, it
It'll catch
ain't
up with
good for you. You know what I'm saying?
you. But
So,
then it also goes back to it. I remember you said you had a great college career. You had a great pro life. Well, not pro life. Not this is not political. I don't want my thing to.
correct.
But your life in the pros was great. But as you stated, I mean, it came to an end. So you didn't want to find yourself like bouncing and trying to just get back into it.
Nah.
You yourself had to find that balance. That hey, you know,
Yeah, man, I was thinking long term.
right?
I was thinking 10, 15, 20 years later, you know what I mean? Not only that, I kind of went into the league saying that I wanted to my goal was to get like 8 to 10 years, when I got drafted, just because I know what it does to your body, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All that banging and stuff. So I kind of had a goal and a plan. I came up a couple years short, but it is what it was, man.
yeah,
So that was that. But enjoyed it while it lasted, and life goes on. You
yeah.
know.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I guess while life goes on, we gotta have some life to live. Have a
No
life to
question.
live. Game preparation. Saturday is
Mm.
coming. Saturday is gone. You're getting ready for the next week. Preparing for games is a complex process. Can you walk us through how you and your coaching staff analyze opponents, develop game strategies, and make in-game adjustments?
Yeah. For me, being that I played the game, so the way I coach is I always try to put myself in the player's shoes first. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
it isn't about what I know or what the offensive coordinator know or what the head coach knows. It's about what the guys can go out and execute at the end of the day. You
This is
know what I'm
true.
saying?
this is true.
So,
This is true.
I think that's one of the issues in coaching, in my opinion, is so many egos and think that they got the answer. And shoot, man, a lot of the best things that happen for me is my players telling me, "Hey, coach, can we do this? Or I think we need to do it like this."
Right.
As to me, I listen to those guys because again, it's about them and it ain't about me and what I know and what I think, you know.
Yeah.
But going into a game week, man, usually, we'll look at first and second downs, and it's up to me to come up with a run game plan. And
Hmm.
for me, man, I like to keep it simple and easy. I refuse to have guys thinking or leave gray area,
Yeah.
going into the
Yeah.
game. So for me, for us, we don't do a lot. And I think you can get really good and master what you do when you don't do a lot versus doing too much things and you can't get good at anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me and us, from a run game standpoint, we're going to run outside zone, we're going to run inside zone, and we're going to run count. And we
Hmm.
probably, between those three concepts, we're probably going to call it, I don't know, say we're running the ball 30 times a game. We're probably going to call it 20 of the 30 times in a game,
Right.
those three concepts. And, we may have some auxiliary runs if we see something to where we can set a defense or set the front. We
Yeah.
may have something different, whether it be pin and pull, a tackle wrap, or guard wrap. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
for me, I'm trying to figure out numbers and angles and what's the best way to run the ball. And,
Hmm.
usually our offensive coordinator, I try to find his probably top 10, 12 formations and
Hmm.
try to create some run game out of
Off of
those,
that.
based off of those formations, man.
Nice.
So that's what I start with. Here from a protection standpoint, protecting the quarterback, here we got a set system, which is easier than what I came from at Mizzou. When I was at Mizzou, and in that system, you got to. It was some work went into that system, man, just
Yeah.
because the quarterback didn't have anything to do with the protection. It was all up to
Uh-huh.
me and my center, and trying to figure out the best way to protect the quarterback. And a lot of times it was based off of D coordinate, that particular D coordinator. I'm studying him, what is he doing on first and
Right.
second down and third downs. Okay, does this guy, this D coordinator, he's like to blitz the running back, or
Yeah.
okay, so guys, this week we got to set the protection to the running back because
Right.
this D coordinator like to blitz the running back. But on third downs, he like to blitz away from the running back. If we get the third and medium plus, we got to set the protection away from the running back. Or
Right.
the next week, hey, they like to bring pressure from the field, so hey, we got to set the protection and slide it to the field this week. But on
Hmm.
third downs, they like to bring it to the boundary. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
hey,
Right.
there's a four down front. If we get a shade to the boundary of field, we got to set the protection to the shade. So based off all of those things I just said, man, you can imagine a lot of time going to film study, trying to figure out the best way to protect your quarterback. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So.
And then you do
Um,
that homework, and then something new next week. Be
Oh, it ain't no
like,
doubt. It ain't no doubt, man. And every week is a different challenge. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Every week is a different challenge, man. And you try to, do what you can to put the kids in the best situations as possible so they can go out and execute and play with confidence.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Man, that's I guess it reminds me of, I guess, what Sun Shu. I know words, I just can't say them. The Art of War. So it's like you really got to know your enemy or your
Oh, it ain't
opponent.
no
In this
doubt.
case, you got to
You
know
got
your
to know your
opponent.
opponent. And
Yeah.
then even like you said too, man. And most anybody that's played football about most teams probably 50% of the time don't even do what you prepared for. You know what I mean? And they come out and do something different. So like you said earlier, you got to be ready to adjust. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's why I don't like to do too much in the run game because our guys, my guys, they're gonna know the answers and issues with
Right.
what we do because we've done it so much.
right.
You know what I mean? So we got an answer if somebody want to do something crazy or funky because we've seen it, I've seen it all. You know.
Right, right, right. It made me think back, just a small trip down memory lane. It was one night you and I we was lined up on the same side, and I mean we was taking care of business. We was not playing what Coach Wool had drawn up, and he was like, "What are y'all doing?" He was like, "It works, but stop." He was like, we getting games, but what are y'all doing? That's not what I wrote. We was like, hey, it just felt like where we needed to go right then.
Shout out to Coach Wool.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, I'm gonna have to get him in on it too, cause man, I'm trying to think. He's either South Mississippi or North Louisiana. He's coaching there now. But yeah. But y'all, man, with that team of guys, man, that opened my mind up to the offensive line. Of course, like you said, we developed there, and then you went forth with it, man. And so yeah. So we're proud of it, man. Proud beginnings. For young athletes aspiring to play college, no. Let me scratch that one. We're gonna come back to it. Since we just finished talking about being able to make those adjustments, and you're listening to your players, and your players, hey, they know coach got our best interests at heart, even from down after down. Okay, there you are.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just texting my wife, man.
Oh yeah, no, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Hey, I can pause right there. We'll let you get that in, man.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna hold it.
Oh yeah, you muted.
Big dog, you there?
Yep. Yes, sir. I can hear. Can you hear me?
Oh no, my volume ain't the same as it was. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear now. I mean, you was muted, but yeah, I can hear you good now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you got to get your Android, bro.
Nah, I'm straight. I'm gonna stick to this iPhone, man.
He said I'm cool on that.
Yeah.
But so within that, you're leading your squad, you're leading your boys, and like you said, week after week, game after game, play after play. Hey, that last play, get that out your mind. Let's get ready for the next set. You got to have some leaders in there. So leadership plays a vital role in any sports team. And how do you approach motivating your players? Especially, I know you alluded to earlier where you said that, hey, when they'll come to you and be like, hey, coach, I know it's drawn up like this, but, we kind of got to do something. We got to pivot off that A or, do something different. How do you approach motivating your players, especially during the challenging times or when facing tough opponents?
To me, I think it goes back to trust and believe. And for me, those guys know I've walked their paths before, so I think I get instant credibility from those guys immediately, just because I've done what they're doing,
Right.
and I've been to where they're trying to go. You know what I mean? And for me, man, I wouldn't say I'm a big rah-rah guy, but I'm a passionate guy. So, I'm running on the field with him. I'm out there in the fire with him. And
Yeah.
for me, man, I think it's just a thing about trust and respect. You know what I mean? Just because of having authentic relationships with those guys. And it isn't just the program I'm working for now. Like every young man, like that I've coached from Duke to Mississippi State to Mizzou to now, I can pick up the phone and they can pick up the phone and call me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll be just like me and you having conversations right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. I think once you know your guys and they know you, man, I think relationships matters. You know what I mean? And I think they trust and believe in me to where I don't have to be a big rah-rah guy. I'm gonna give it to them real, and I'm gonna give it to them raw. You know what I mean? And they're gonna respect me for it. They might not like it in the moment in time. You know what I mean? But I've had so many players that have called me years later and said, "Man, coach, I apologize. I acted out like that
Ah,
and this and that." You know what I mean? I'm in the
yeah.
coaching now. Now I understand what you was trying to tell me. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So again, because I mean, young people are make emotional decisions and whatnot. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So for me, man, I think once you develop that bond and that relationship with those dudes, I think they'll run through a brick wall for you.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
And for me, even piggybacking off of that, and I've told my guys this, like I'd rather coach out of love than fear. I think there's so many coaches out there that just scream, yell, and curse, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. And like to me,
Yeah.
that ain't coaching. I mean, I'm not saying I ain't bashing nobody or talking bad about nobody. You got to do what works for you, but
Right.
I don't see that as coaching. I believe in actually teaching the guy. No, I'm gonna jump in the drill. I'm gonna take the step, or I'm gonna take the set, or I'm gonna put my hand placement in the right spot. To me, that's coaching.
Yeah.
And because I always believe that coaching out of fear, they're gonna do enough just to not get yelled at versus out of love. I feel like they'll go above and beyond for you
Yes,
and
sir.
try like hell not to disappoint you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Right. Man, you walked us right into this next point because hey, you're coaching, you got players on, and of course each year you gotta build up for the next 2, 3 years. I always gotta look down, the bigger picture.
Oh, it ain't no doubt. Even though like I'm loaded right now,
Yeah.
I got more linemen right now that I've ever had in my career. But
Sweet.
then I'm losing, but I'm losing like six of them. So I'm already thinking like next year and the year after. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because
right. So you gotta reload, man, gotta
no
rebuild.
question,
Yeah.
no question.
What qualities, and of course now, and this will help other O linemen that's coming out of high school, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, that, some of them, they got the skill, got the ability, but they may not have nobody pushing them, or they just want that shot.
No doubt.
What are you looking for? And I mean, how can I say? I know I'm interviewing you, but I would say since you've been around other O line coaches, I guess I could say what's some things that O line coaches look for, qualities that they look for that are essential for success in college football.
Um, to me, man, if we talking no lineman, I think obviously the size thing probably is the first thing that sticks out, right? Got to be a certain type of height, certain type of
Right.
weight, right? But for me, man, I don't know. I think I'm different than other line coaches. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want good football players. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now there may be a time in my past where I worked for coaches, head coaches that want a certain height requirement and want to look the part getting out off the bus. But
Yeah.
for me personally, individually, I just want good football players. And I see an O line being like almost like a basketball team. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Like you got a point guard as your center who's kind of
Okay.
running the show. He's not as tall as the center or
Right.
those tackles. You know what I mean? Center on the basketball court, but not as tall as a tackle on the football field. You know what I mean? He's kind of
Right.
like your point guard and kind of running the show and
The facilitator.
communicating, right?
Yeah.
And your guard to me are more like your power forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Strong, stocky, sturdy. That has the ability to move people.
Right.
And then
Right.
your centers to me, your tackles are like your centers, that long, lean,
Yeah.
athletic body, Joel Embiid. You know what I mean? So
Right. I
that's what I
never made
mean
that
when I say.
analogy. That's a slick analogy, dude. That's
But I mean, that's how I see it being, and my
yeah.
point being is that everybody in the room can't look the same. Is my
Mm-hmm.
point behind it. Like I need a couple of 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". I need a couple of 6'3s and 6'4s. I
Mm-hmm.
need a couple of 6'2s. You know what I mean?
Right.
And because we all can't be the same, man. So for me, I think that makes me a little different. But for me, I was even talking. We had a breakout session last night with our starting running back, and who else was in there? Our starting running back,
Mm-hmm.
our starting DN, who's a stud, and then a freshman safety. And I was telling him about this young man that I saw in Detroit, who's here now with us. and he was 260 pounds this time last year, and now he's 305, and he's one of the my best offensive
Yeah.
linemen,
Oh, he put it on. Yeah.
and he's gonna play a major role for us this year,
Yeah.
man. But
Yeah.
just seeing him and have seeing probably every Big Ten and every SEC school was up there watching this young man work out, but we were the one that took a shot on it. It came down to us in Michigan State. He ended up choosing us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just seeing this long dude. Like, I couldn't even believe he was 260 pounds at the time because he's so thick in his hips and his quads and calves, and you know what
Right.
I mean? So I actually thought he was like a 280-pound dude, but he was 260.
260.
But
Yeah.
he runs like a deer and he bends like
What?
no other. He can throw a football like 60 yards. You know what I mean? He was just different. So I'm just saying a big
Yeah.
athlete. And he never played high school football, but I'm seeing a guy that I can mold and develop. Plus, he's a great young man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's a hard-working young man, and I think his best days are ahead of him. It wouldn't shock me if he ends up playing in the league for
Yeah.
double-digit years. But
Nice. Nice.
I look at character. You know what I mean? When I'm looking at old linemen, I look at grades because we do
Mm-hmm.
have to be smart. You know what we
Right.
do. We had to make some tough decisions. I look at guys to see if they can talk and communicate and have conversations with you because we got to be able to do that, on the
Right.
field in the middle of play, pre-snap and post-snap, and just hard-working, good young men that do right. You know what I mean? I always tell guys all the time, man. Um, we all know right from wrong. Just do right. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
He says
Whatever
it's not
that
hard
may
to
be.
do. Like,
You know what I mean? I know right from wrong. Just do right. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
just good, solid young men, and you hope they have those tangibles. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it is, man. Hope that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So to the upcoming linemen, because again, Seven North, we don't just specialize and focus on skilled players. We want to get in with the O linemen, the D linemen, the kickers, like special teams, anybody. So this is what we
Mhm.
do. As we have information for everyone. So, Coach, leave us with some wisdom, some words to the upcoming player that's coming up, and they're like, "Hey, I want to give it a shot," or they may say, "Hey, I want Coach Johnson to come to my living room and talk with my parents." Give us some last words, bro.
Man, kind of like what I last said, man. Just do right, treat people right, man, and you can go a long ways in life just by that. You never want to burn bridges because you may have to go back across that bridge. I'm always on my guys about that all the time.
Yeah,
About treating academics, equipment, training room, even the dang janitor that's cleaning up for you guys every day. Like
yeah,
respect those people, man, because I can assure you, the scouts and the GMs, they're going to go to those people before they come to me. So you better be treating them right. You know what I
right.
mean? And I tell them all the time, like, I'm not going to lie for you. If you're a turd, I'm going to let them know you're a turd. If late to this and that and not taking care of your business,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell them that. I'm not gonna lie for you because I don't want to lose my credibility for the
Mm-hmm.
next young man in the room. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
screw it up for those other 18 guys that's coming back with me next year. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm gonna be straight up and honest. So just do right, man. Work hard. Usually, if you work hard, pretty good things usually happen to hardworking people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to hit adversity, but you heard what I said about adversity earlier, man.
Mm-hmm.
Attacking it and overcoming it and coming back with a great attitude and great effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But adversity is going to hit, man. But how you respond is usually um, is going to be the determining factor of how things turn out. You know what I mean?
Right.
However you handle that adversity. And what else I would say? Um, to me, man, that's it. I don't think it's complicated. Do right, work hard. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, and usually good things happen, man. And
Yeah.
you know, I think less is more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in complicating things. with my guys or with people. Be honest, tell the truth. If you screw up, it's okay to say I screwed up. I
Right.
said to my guys, I'd be the first one in the room if I screw up. They know
Right.
I admit if I was wrong. Or hey, just like I remember yesterday, we was watching an inside drill against our defense, and
Mm-hmm.
we had a 4-man surface on one side and then a 3-man surface on the other side. And I told my guys, hey, that's a bad job by us as coaches. We got to get you in a better run play. We need to be running
Mm-hmm.
this thing opposite. We should run it to the left instead of the right
Right.
because we
Yeah.
got more people to the right than the left. That's on us. That's not on you guys.
Right.
We put
Right.
you guys in a bad situation. And I think that's how, even from a coach, as far as coaches, man, I think that's how you earn credibility with your guys. Is again, just admit your wrongdoings.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
The formula is simple.
it is, man. It truly is, and I think the issue with a lot of people is so many people got ego, and they
Mm-hmm.
want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be recognized. Versus me, I'm okay riding underneath. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
Um, but I don't need all the attention. You know what I mean? Even though I ain't 42 on that list of O-line coaches.
He said they're gonna see the difference. They
They
finna
gonna see.
learn.
All they did was add fuel to my fire, big dog.
That's
So
it.
we good.
That joker said we finna go to the lab and we finna cook it up. We said
Fact.
let them cook.
Fact.
But
Real
yeah,
talk.
man. Well, hey, I thank you. These are all the questions I have, man. And I thank you for being on with us today, bro.
Anytime, man.
Yes, sir.
Anytime.
Yes, sir.
We gotta do this thing. We next time we gotta do it with like a table and have like a round table discussion with all of us, and Belton and Tony Campbell, and you know what I mean, the folks from back in the crib and whatnot. You
Man,
know.
we could do that, man. I tell you what thing. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that I have more than 40 minutes on this call.
No doubt. No doubt. I appreciate you, Lee. I enjoyed it, man. And it's great to see you and hear from you, big dog.
Man, bro, same to you, man. Same to you. Well, hey, everyone. That's our time, and we thank you for yours.